In this video, we are going to discuss how and why we should be talking about domestic abuse within our churches and church communities. One of the worst things we can do as a church is stay silent, because our silence sends a message to both perpetrators and victims and survivors. But it's not easy to know how to talk about domestic abuse, especially if it feels like you are breaking our long-standing silence on the topic. It is very easy for the church to end up in a vicious cycle where churchgoers do not believe that domestic abuse is an issue in their community, and therefore they don't talk about it, which only further perpetuates the idea that it isn't an issue. But this silence communicates something. It tells victims that they're alone, it tells perpetrators that they won't be held accountable, and it tells everybody else that they don't need to get involved. These messages can result in the church becoming a place where abuse can hide in plain sight. In one UK study, 42% of churchgoers reported having experienced at least one abusive behaviour in a previous or current relationship. It is clear that this behaviour exists within our church communities, and while 71% of churchgoers report being aware of domestic abuse in their wider communities, only 37.6% believe that it is happening within their church community. For many Christians, the church is the first place they will turn when experiencing a hard time, including domestic abuse. That makes the church first responders, whether we're prepared or not. But our silence may deter victims from coming forward, leading them to suffer in silence further. And that is why it is so important that we talk about this. You don't need to be an expert to break the silence, so here are a few simple ways that you can start the conversation. You could mention abuse in prayers or sermons. You can display information on posters, websites, or church bulletins about helplines or local services that may be able to help. You can pray publicly for domestic abuse victims and survivors. If you're ever talking about forgiveness, submission, or suffering, take note and be careful that you're not reinforcing any harmful theology. You can create space to talk about domestic abuse in youth groups, marriage courses, and other ministries, even if this is just to explain what it is and what sort of behaviours might be harmful. But do remember, if somebody does come to you about a domestic abuse situation, please do contact someone with training, such as a church safeguarding officer. We cannot allow domestic abuse to be an uncomfortable and unspoken topic in our churches. It should not be the responsibility of a victim or survivor of domestic abuse to be the one to break the silence in their church.